So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm almost 3 years into my agency journey, going all the way back to August 2016 when I signed my first client for $400 a month, all the way to where we are right now in 2019, where my agency is routinely signing $8,000 to $10,000 per month retainers, and that's service fee, by the way. I've done a hell of a lot of things wrong, and I've also had quite a few wins, right? So really in this video, what I want to break down is what I wish I knew when I first started my SMA journey. So let's get straight into it. Now, the first thing is, and this took me a long time to understand and internalize, is the client needs you more than you need them. You see, if you don't get a client or you don't get a meeting or whatever, who cares? There's so many other potential clients, there's so many other meetings to be set, etc., etc. Because what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be in volume, reaching out to tons and tons and tons of businesses, right? Whether that be through cold calls, cold emails, just cold audit, whether that be through an actual Facebook advertising to a case study funnel, which is what we do. Whatever the method might be, you are constantly out there in the marketplace, bringing in new leads, bringing more people through the pipeline. Out of potentially 10 solid leads, or even 3 solid leads that you have might have right now, if one falls off, who cares, right? There's so many more clients. And for me, it was really hard to move into this abundance mindset when I first started my agency. And the funny thing is, at first I thought, oh, it's not true, but let me just have this abundance mindset because it's gonna help me land more clients. At first I'm like, of course I need the client more than the client needs me. But then I thought about it. And as I said, with us, if a client leaves or we don't manage to sign a client, who cares? There's so many other clients out there. But with them, if they lose a high quality agency, look, ladies and gentlemen, quite often I get people saying, hey, SMA is saturated. SMA is not saturated. We are this tiny little niche online. This group of people, and the issue is, you're logging into YouTube, Instagram, whatever, this thing, that thing, and you are inundated with other agency owners or people making videos about having an agency or this thing or that thing. We're just a little tiny segment of the market in an entire world economy. With industries and industries that haven't even, I'd honestly say probably around like 70% of industries out there haven't even touched marketing. As in, not 70% of clients within that industry or within that niche, because say for example, something like restaurants, literally like 30% of the restaurants out there just don't even do any online marketing. Or 30% of the gyms out there just don't even do any online marketing, right? Like at all. I'm not even saying that, I'm saying 70% or 80% or maybe even 90% of the entire world's economy, all the businesses out there don't even do any online marketing, let alone some gyms or some restaurants in some cities. There's entire industries that have been untapped. Really getting back to my point, as I said, with us, if we don't sign a client, no big deal at all. But if they don't sign us, and this does need to come from a place of having competence, this does need to come from a place of that you have set up your agency in the right way, that you serve one niche, you only offer one service, and you're going all in on that to become the best at that. Obviously, I have an education company, I have Grow Your Agency, and I help tons of agency owners out there, but I'm still in the field every day trying to sign clients. So I speak to a lot of business owners. I speak to business owners and I ask them, because a lot of clients that, for example, we used to work with, or clients that we've worked with that then brought it in-house, we still remain friends, a year and a half, 2 years later. And I ask them, I'm like, hey, how often do you get pitched, or how do you normally get pitched by agencies? Or, what sort of things, or what sort of pricing models are other agency owners using with you? And just most of the shit I hear out there is ridiculous. I hear stuff like, agencies out there charging an onboarding fee and taking 30 days to onboard a client, and no shit, after the 30 days, the client wants to leave because they paid $3K to get onboarded, and in the first month, nothing happened. I see agencies owners out there offering the diamond package, which doesn't even fucking mean anything. There's like 6 different things bundled in together, and there's just that one thing that the client actually cares about, right? There's shit like that. There's just a lot of BS with agency owners out there in terms of even just like the structural foundation of it, right? So if you're watching this channel, if you're listening to me, or if even better, you're in one of my six-figure SMA, then by now you're gonna know how to set up your agency, and that's literally gonna put you ahead of 99% of agency owners out there. Just the way that you think and the way you set up your boutique agency is gonna put you way ahead of the competition, right? So you need to understand, in the business owner's perspective, the way they're normally pitched is, hey, let's have a meeting, and then it's just some dumbass coming to the meeting and offering them the diamond package plus 3,000 setup fee for what? The only other way I can describe it is imagine like you're a celebrity out there, and if you're a celebrity, you just get tons and tons of people coming to you. Or even let's just say like you're a big like business thought leader or whatever that means, right? Let's just say you're like a big business thought leader, or you have a big business podcast or something along those lines. You know, you're just gonna get tons and tons of people reaching out to you every day that just want something from you, that, you know, their outreach is just, you know, the way they message you and the way they try to stimulate a conversation, it just kind of shit. And then when you get that one person who hits the nail on the head, so everything from the way they outreach to the fact that they are a perfect fit for you, etc., etc. Look, it's honestly like the biggest blessing in the world. So that's really a mindset shift that I had to have. And as I said, at first I thought I'd just take this abundance mind frame and just think that the client needs me more than I need them. But then I actually started to realize that once you've gotten a solid half a year or a year or even 2 years, even 3 years plus under your belt as an agency owner, and structurally you set up your agency in the right way, you really are like ahead of 99% of the competition. You're just so like desirable in the marketplace. So that's really the first thing that I had to learn, or that I did learn, and I wish I knew when I first started, was that because I was, you know, and I know friends I wasn't at the time. If you're listening to this, I hope you are. If you are a boutique agency, you've figured out what niche you're serving, and you're just offering your services to one niche, and you're just offering one results-driven service, then you're literally ahead of 99% of the competition. And you do your niche research, you know how much a customer is worth to them, you know what their competitors are doing, you know historically how to get results, what sort of offers get the best results for that niche, then shit, as I said, you're literally 99% ahead of 99% of the competition. So the second thing that I wish I knew when I first started my agency was, one of my favorite sayings is, "This too shall pass." And I don't just mean that in terms of the bad stuff, I mean that in terms of the good stuff. You see, with my agency, I've noticed a trend, and you probably, and to be honest, this is a trend everywhere you look in life. There's just peaks and troughs. So it's crazy, because in 1 month, it seems like I'll sign 3 clients, or, you know, this or at least this is the case a year or 2 years ago. As I said, the further you get into your agency journey, the more common sense and the more you know which clients to actually sign. And these days I don't sign clients because, you know, thinking that maybe I can get them results just because I want the money. Now I really only get a client if I know that I can get them results, and because we get them such incredible results, there's not as much stagnation, stuff like that. You know, especially when I first got it started, it seemed like 1 month I'd sign 3 clients and then it would be good, and then in 1 entire month I'd lose 3 clients, and it would never be like 1 month I'd sign a client, 1 month I'd lose a client, or, you know, the same month I'd lose a client and assign a client. It's like it would be these huge peaks and these huge troughs. And really, I had to remember, and I have to remember even to this day, because even to this day, you know, the issue is with where I am right now, because we've gotten good results, we've gotten some big names under our belt, and because we've got things like our case study funnel running. So we've got Facebook adverts running to the case study funnel. So we're generating leads every single day. When I see a brand or e-commerce business or info product business that I know we can kill it for, I also do cold outreach via cold loom audit. But kind of the issue these days is, because we've got this coming in, I don't remember that saying as much, "This too shall pass." But when I first started, I really had to remind myself that if I was having a good month, or, you know, I'd signed a couple clients, you know, that's gonna pass. So I constantly have to keep the pipeline full. Otherwise, I'm gonna get bitten in that ass, and in 1 month, once again, the trough is gonna come in, and man, that's super painful. Now, if you are in a phase where you're in that trough phase, and maybe in the last few months you've lost a few clients, or things are just kind of drying up, just remember, this too shall pass. And it's so funny, it's always when things get the worst that they start to get the best, you know, and they bounce straight back up. That is part of that's the pendulum swinging as an agency owner, and really as any business owner, I would say. But that's really just the pendulum swinging, and you need to remember that when it swings one way, you know, in the wrong direction, it's gonna swing back in the right way, and it's gonna swing just as much or even further as your last peak. That's really number 2 to remember. I think for your emotional health and your mental health, that is such an important point to remember before we get into this third point. Now, the last point is private victories over public victories. So I have this saying, and I always tell people that you need to focus on the private victories in order to get your public victories. So what is a private victory? Waking up at the right time, you know, waking up at the same time every day, meditating, doing the amount of outreach that you need to do for that day with your chosen form of outreach in order to drum up enough meetings for that week or month in order to get your target monthly, your target amount of clients that month. That is a private victory. You see, because a private victory, that's me most of the day. Me most of the day is just sitting at this desk, or in this case today, standing at this desk and just working. And that's my private victory. And no one knows about it. No one knows what the fuck I'm doing, but it's happening. And one of the things that I really wish I wish I had known when I first started my SMA journey is private victories over public victories. Public victories is what most people celebrate, which is when you buy a nice car or you buy a nice watch, or, and this is the one that really gets people, when you do something good and you put it up on your Insta story, right? Or you post it on your Instagram, or you post it here or there. That is a public victory. For whatever reason, and if you're a subscriber, I recommend you do this. Go back, literally go to my videos, go back on my channel. You can go back 3 or 4 years when it's cool because every single thing I've ever done, I have on camera. When I signed my first sort of higher ticket client, athlete, I'm literally there, staff with the camera, with Sean, who's the CEO and founder of Athlete. And I'm like, hey, we're in the Athlete office. This is Sean, my new client, blah, blah. When I got Zebrafuel as a client, I'm there in Zebrafuel's office. Same with Fuel Systems, Belgravia Garage. I'm there with like James Taylor. Like all of my first 5, 6, 7 clients, I have it all on camera. And to be honest, now looking back, I don't really know why I did. I think it was because if you even look back further than that, I used to make videos back when I was going to the gym and then going to the gym and then reading books. And like literally my entire journey over the last 3, 4 years is pretty much documented. And you can see me from in Brixton Bookmongers on a Sunday, spending 10 pounds on 3 used books because I couldn't afford new books. 3, 4 years later, a multimillionaire. And I don't know why I did that. I guess it's cool that I did. If you are an agency owner out there, understand that social media, Instagram, YouTube has 0 fucking value for you. I did not have my education business, and sometimes I think about it, but if I didn't have my education business, I would delete Instagram entirely, delete YouTube, delete Facebook. In fact, on my phone, Facebook's deleted. I did a 6-week trial on using Instagram, or deleting Instagram entirely, and my team just managed it all. It was fucking amazing. It was literally like in terms of focus, the best 6 weeks of my life. Now, we did a survey, and it's quite clear that people like the fact that like I actually run an agency, a very successful agency, and they like to see when I have a discovery calls, sales calls with potential clients on Zoom. They like to see when I have my strategy session, the onboarding call where the client meets the rest of the team, where we have our weekly team meeting. Where we're talking about client campaigns. People like to see that sort of stuff, and they like to see the journey, and they like to see what I'm doing generally. So that's why I've gone back and started using Instagram again. But for those of you guys, or namely Instagram stories, because that's the real killer. For those of you guys who are agency owners, which should be most of you guys, just delete Instagram. Honestly, Instagram, Facebook, social media is the most cancerous thing on earth. Read a good book called, it's this book, The Shallows. Shallows by Nicholas Carr. What the Internet is Doing to Our Brain. This book is amazing. This is back when I still used to read paperback books. I used to read a paperback book a week. Now I moved to Kindle, just for the cliff notes that I give everyone in the community. I see this so much. It's plaguing all agency owners out there. I see so many agency owners that are so fixated on the public victory, aka spending all their time on Instagram or Instagram stories, posting this fucking facade of what they're doing, rather than focusing on the private victories, or rather than waking up at the same time every day, rather than actually putting in the fucking work in their agency, rather than stacking up all of these private victories. Which, look, here's the thing, if you stack up enough private victories, it's like this spring load that gives you your public victories, right? Do you really think the person who has a Ferrari or a Lambo or whatever they want in life, do you really think they just got that? No, that was just private victory on private victory on private victory. Do you think all the nice shit I have comes from, just thin air? No, it's literally just, I did the simple things when no one was looking, right? It wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. It wasn't sexy. No one was looking. Right? No one was looking. If I hadn't, if I don't get out of bed in the morning, I guess technically I have a personal trainer, and I did this to force myself. I have a personal trainer that comes to my house every morning, so I guess he knows. But look, I'm here alone. If I don't do the work, no one knows. If I don't meditate, no one knows, right? If I don't read, no one knows. If I don't build the business, no one fucking knows, right? Because I'm in private. But it's all of those private victories that made me a multimillionaire at 19. That is why. It's because, as I said, go look on my fucking YouTube. Back when I was 16, I spring loaded all those private victories. At 16, I didn't have to meditate. I didn't have to read a book a week. I didn't have to go to the gym. I didn't have to work on myself, but I did. I spring loaded those private victories when no one was looking, because I knew they would give me those public victories years down the line. And the issue is people are forgetting about all these private victories here, and they're just going straight to the public victories. And the easiest way to do that, you see, if you don't have money, you can't walk to Wall Street and buy a $17,000 Rolex. You can't do that, right? Because you haven't put enough private victories. You can't walk into the car dealership and walk out with a 458. That's not possible. So instead of putting in all these private victories in order to get those like actual public victories, or for you, your public victory literally just might be being able to travel the world. That might be, the point is with a public victory is it's a win that other people appreciate and other people pat you on the back and other people see. For me, my wins of the day is when I meditate, or when I wake up on time, or when I go to the gym, or when I sit at my desk at the same time every day and focus for an hour, have my 15-minute break, focus for an hour, have my 15-minute break, focus for an hour, have my 15-minute break, focus for an hour, and repeat that for 9 to 10 hours. That's my fucking private victory. So what I'm saying is people are forgetting all about these private victories right here. And instead they're like, oh, well, I haven't put enough private victories to go buy myself a nice watch, or buy myself a nice car, or travel the world, or, take care of my mom, or whatever it is that you want to do. I haven't actually earned any public victories, but how about I just go on Instagram and I just post what I'm doing and this thing and that thing, which it literally brings zero fucking benefit to your agency. Do you really think your clients are looking at what you're doing day by day? No, it's the dumbest fucking thing on earth. And when I see agency owners doing it, it honestly baffles me. It baffles me because, as I said, social media is cancer. From the bottom of my heart, and I know that as I'm trying to get to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million a year, I will have to cut out social media like in its entirety. Something like YouTube. The cool thing is I can do this, and I don't, from the minute this is shot to the minute it's posted, and when it's posted, I don't have to look at the comments. I try to respond sometimes. I don't have to spend my time focusing on the comments. It's not, it's batchable, right? I can batch it all up and then schedule it, queue it, etc., etc. So I know as I'm trying to get to 20, 30, 40, 50 million a year, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to let go of a lot of things. And for me, social media is the thing that weighs most people down. So especially when you're just first starting, and especially if you're an agency owner, your social media brings zero fucking benefit to you. So just cut it out. Just cut it out. When I was building my agency, and especially from 0 to 10, 15K a month, really just my first year of building an agency, I'd sign some clients and then I'd spend all my time posting on Instagram and replying to people on Instagram and trying to give people entrepreneurship advice and trying to give people value, when why? I should just focus on my real fucking business right here, the clients that actually matter, the clients that are actually paying me money, and go ahead and try to find more clients just like that. Private victories over public victories all day, every day, because private victories are what get you the public victories. And I don't just mean that in a general life sense. I mean that also specifically when it comes to social media. So rather than posting this facade on social media that you are successful, the best possible life that you can have is no social media, no one knows who the fuck you are, and you're rich. That is the best life that you can have. I'm telling you honestly, that is the best quality of life that you can have. So what you should wish for yourself is not to, post on Instagram and network with some other entrepreneur idiots, right, that aren't successful. I mean, hey, if you want to network, why don't you network with some real people? That's why you guys don't really ever see me like collaborate or hang out with other like online entrepreneur influencer type people, because I would much rather go to my other friends, my other business owner friends that have been in real estate for 30 years, or one of my friends is about to sell his company for multiple 8 figures. Let that sink in. He's quite young. Multiple 8 figures. So I have friends like that, real business owners, and they don't have Instagram, right? Those are the ones that I'm gonna listen to. So as I said, rather than trying to post all this bullshit on social media, if you were a YouTuber or you were a gamer and that was your business, I would understand. As I said, the only reason I'm on YouTube and the only reason I'm on really social media in general is because I have the education company and people like seeing content like this, right? This content with you and me, it builds trust, right? I'm giving you free value, entirely free. It builds trust. And people like to see the day-to-day. People like to see the fact that, oh shit, Iman actually still runs an agency and he actually openly talks about every single client he's ever had, and he has evidence of every single client he has and how much those clients pay and he's basically an open book. People like that. So the only reason I do it is for my education company. If I didn't have my education company, oh man, honestly, Instagram would all get shut down, YouTube would everything would fucking get shut down. I would just be exactly like my friends are, which is rich as hell, real money rich, and no one knows who you are, because that's honestly the most incredible life possible. Stop fucking focusing on all the online entrepreneur dummies and instead focus on your fucking clients, because your clients are the ones that pay you, and go get more of those clients, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, those are 3 things I learned while building my agency that are probably a little different from what you'd hear. I mean, there are some very fundamental basic ones, like pick on a niche and stick to it. Another one was just focus on one ROI-driven, results-driven service, right? So my agency runs Facebook ads, and we do a little bit of Google as well for info product and e-commerce clients. So, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, those are the things that I wish I knew when I first started my SMMA journey. Probably stuff that you're not really gonna hear, because look, there are some more foundational stuff that I didn't want to talk about. Some of the biggest game changers for me were really just picking one niche and picking one service. Those were, to be honest, the big game changers. But I want to talk about some other more underlying stuff that, you won't see anywhere else on YouTube. So I hope you enjoyed, and remember, if you are looking to start an agency, start now. The best time is now, because really with an agency is like a fine wine. Every year it just gets better and better and better, right? And then, eventually you start to get to almost this holy grail where everyone knows who you are, or at least within your niche. Clients come to you begging to work with you. You get retainers that honestly sometimes, like, to me, baffle me, right? Because of the systems and processes we have in place. So the way in which we can deliver the services, it's just so efficient. They get such incredible results, and the retainers are just mind-boggling. And it's such a just clean, efficient business model if you do it the right way, and it's just so steady. Right? It's so steady. And I have very low stress as an agency owner, which is amazing. Definitely not the same as my education business. That thing is cash and money hungry and time hungry. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are new here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. If you are already a subscriber, go ahead and make sure you turn on that bell notification. That way you'll get notified when you get videos just like this. There's tons of fluff out there, as we already discussed. So when you get a video like this, you're gonna wanna make sure to watch it and implement it ASAP. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.